Okay, so I guess we are ready. I mean, we are not going to be more ready than we are, so we can start. So let me welcome Peter O'Neill. Um, Peter, maybe at the beginning, could you say a little bit about your background, what you do, and what is your experience in digital analytics?
Cool. Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Exponea, for inviting me here today. My name is Peter O'Neill. I'm the Director of Analytics at Ayima, a digital marketing agency based in London. You will pick up very quickly the Australian accent. I am Australian, but been living here in London since 2004. I've been working in digital analytics for about the last 12 years or so, I think. Starting to lose track over the years now. I was running my own agency, L3 Analytics, which merged to become Leap 3, and then were acquired by Ayima back in July 2018. So I'm now there as part of their agency. And outside of that sort of work, my real job, I'm also, about 8 years ago, had this crazy idea to create a little bit of a conference for analytics, which we set up in London. It was called MeasureCamp, and it's somehow, thanks to some great organisers and support from companies all around the world, it has spread around the world, 20 odd sort of cities. Struggling right now to try and find a way of making it go virtual, looking at that. But yeah, no, it's been a nice, incredible journey.
Thank you. And originally, when we had this idea to invite you to talk, it was actually a few months back. Just by coincidence, it was at Super Week, so that's the T-shirt I'm wearing right now. And we just wanted to talk about some useful ways how to apply analytics in business to bring real impact to the businesses. We wanted to discuss maybe some frameworks that can help with that. However, a lot has changed in the meantime. We actually had to cancel this recording because there was a lockdown starting in London, and then we wanted to do it in person. And now it looks like it's not a temporary lockdown, but it's really becoming new normal. The situation here. So we wanted to shift the topic towards this as well. So maybe let me kick it off with the question: what is the role of analytics now in this current situation? How has it changed from the normal?
Yeah, I mean, the world's changed a lot since Super Week days, and thinking then, I mean, really hoping things have returned a little bit to normal by then. I'd hate to miss Super Week next year. It's the most incredible event all year to attend as a digital analyst. But yeah, it's a good point. That was a lifetime ago. We're in a whole different place now. We're not quite sure what the future holds when it comes to lockdowns, pandemics, quarantines, what's going to happen. So, and companies they're really struggling. So many companies, their entire business has stopped overnight. There's no flights, there's no pubs. The world's a very different place. So how does analytics fit into this? What can we do differently now to help out in these times? And to be honest, my biggest sort of thought with that is actually nothing's changed when it's come to the world of analytics. Companies should in the future, but should always have been using the intelligence from the data combined with their own knowledge and experience to inform their decisions and their actions. Because I mean, people in companies across the entire business, every day, every week, every month, whatever the situation, they're making decisions and taking actions. Now, if they can make these decisions and these actions smarter through the use of the insights from the data, combined with their own knowledge and experience, they'll make the right decisions, the right actions on a more consistent and reliable basis. And as a result, this will really impact the business performance. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's good times or bad times, the company is growing or the company is right now struggling a lot. I mean, the desired outcomes, just to make that 5%, 10%, 25% increase in performance due to the use of the analytics, whatever's happening. And I mean, in a way, companies, they get away with it in the good times. They're growing 10% year on year. And so they say, well, obviously we're doing a very good job here. Look at our numbers, look at the scoreboard, see how great we are. I mean, we know our customers, we know our marketplace. We use a bit of data, but we don't have to worry about it too much. And what these companies in these good times often don't realize is that the market's growing at 15%. I mean, and they're 10%, they're actually lagging behind the market, doing very, very good, but only on the basis of they're growing year on year. And if they were smart about it, if they used the intelligence from the data and the analytics in their good times, that 10% could be 20% or even more ahead of the market, not behind it. And then sometimes we hit the bad times where right now, some very bad times. But always there are markets which are going downhill, companies that are suffering. And often you sort of find companies do then turn to the data and the analytics because they're panicking and will they try anything. But often that's too late at that point in time. You can't change the way you run your business when things are going wrong. The intelligence that can always be useful to help companies, even help companies break even when they could be losing money or going under. And that's important.
So you're saying that fundamentally the role of analytics is still the same, as in understand the business, what's happening, understand what is working, if you are successful or not. However, now the big difference is the market is changing that quickly. That what was a success before might not be success now, or what was a failure before might be a success now. Even like having -5% growth could be a success when the whole market is crashing.
Yeah.
So how would you make sure that you are still relevant? That what activities as an analyst would you do differently just to make sure that you are actually taking the changes in the market into account?
Okay, so I mean, post the lockdown, I mean, in a way, I'm ignoring what's happening right now because companies typically can't react that fast. There are some tactics they can change right now, which can be informed by the analytics. Things like basically your paid media spend, put it into the right places. If you have to choose between product lines, choosing the ones that work the best. So there are some things you can react upon quite quickly. But companies are usually big, immovable objects that sort of have a very, very slow turning circle. They can't react that fast. So my focus now is actually moving from the lockdown to the post-lockdown period. And in that period, there's almost going to be two key things, I believe it, in my opinion. One, most companies will likely have less resources. They won't have as much money and possibly have less people at different points there. Which means you're less able to afford mistakes. In good times, it's great. You can make a mistake, you can lose, you can make a bad decision, and a 100 grand, £250,000 marketing campaign does something for you, and that's bad. Good learning experience. Let's move on to the next one. In a few months' time, you can't afford to lose that money and to waste opportunity with that bad campaign. You have to try and get it right first time because you might not get a second go at it. The other big thing post the lockdown should be different is the whole idea of normal will have changed. I mean, right now, many companies and some people in companies say it's okay. We don't need data. We know our customers. Worked in the field for a long time. We know who buys from us, what they want, how they think. We know our marketplace back to front. Things aren't normal now, and they won't be normal post lockdown. They won't immediately revert back to their previous state. What people think of as their customers may be very different, and same for their market. So you need to relearn who your customers are. You need to relearn what your market is. And the way of doing that as quickly as possible is through the intelligence that comes from the data and the analytics. So that's going to be really, really important at that point in time. Going on from there, I mean, what actions should you be taking as an analyst or as a business when it comes to the analytics? In a way, those actions, the overall idea behind them, the principles you follow, the sort of framework you follow for this actually hasn't changed. You need to identify what you need to know. And I mean, that's always been the case. You need to know what decisions, what actions you're taking, and what insights and information you need to inform those decisions, those actions, make them smarter. The difference now is that the decisions and action play are even more important than ever, and the information you need may have changed. But the principle of identifying what you need to know is still there. You then need to ensure this information is being collected within your business. In your digital analytics tools, your Google Analytics, Adobe Analytics, Snowplow, 8 Internet, has to get on those tools. In your marketing vendor tools, in your back-end systems, capture the right information in user-friendly manners. Make sure then this information is available to your teams, that they can access the information through trainings, actually know how to use the tools, know how to translate the data into insights, and they've got the raw reports built for them so they can access the information easily. And the key thing always, pre-lockdown, current lockdown, in the future, you have to be willing to actually act upon these this intelligence, not just think of what you think is best or what you know is best, especially not in the future, because the future is going to be very different. The world you know has changed, your customers have changed. Act upon the insights from the data and make decisions based on that. And that last one, you're changing the way you think, you behave, you're changing your company culture. That one's really, really hard.
Mm. Well, all of this sounds like a huge undertaking. Making sure that you have all the available data, making sure that everyone has access to it, they know how to use it, and they actually act upon it. It sounds very relevant now as it was relevant before. And it sounds even more difficult now than it was before, just because of the remote work and now limited resources and all the obstacles you said. So what might be as relevant as before are some tips that actually worked for you in the past, how to make this happen, maybe even in a small scale, how to ensure that analytics will be acted upon. And then when you implement it on a small scale, how to make it grow. What worked for you in the past? Some
Yeah,
sort of frameworks or approaches?
yeah, it's a challenging one because to get this right, you have to change the way in which a company operates, and that's really challenging. Some key aspects there is you can't just do it from the bottom up. You can go to a certain level working from the bottom up, but at some point, this will be championed by someone senior in the business. You have to get the right level of investment in this, because if you're using the right tools, they're not free. Some are, but the good ones, you start paying for it, they're not even sort of cheap. You have to invest in the right people as well. And our salaries in this sort of world are actually stupidly high at times, but actually they're as high as they need to be because we can add a lot of value to the business. And there's not that many of us around. So you need to invest in the people, in the tools, and the ability to actually use the information, and also have someone sort of senior who can argue the case that we have to use the data, not just opinions. That's one important aspect. Beyond that, I mean, I'm quite aware. As an analyst for an agency or within a client-side role there, I keep on mentioning the actions and decisions, and the analysts aren't the ones taking the actions or making the decisions. We can get really involved. We can give all the intelligence needed for this, but at some point, it's the marketeer, it's the product manager, the UX expert, the management team, the developers are the ones that taking the actions, making the decisions. And therefore, they're the ones that need the intelligence from the data to get smarter with those decisions, with those actions. So for analytics to work, they needed a solution that they can use, not what an analyst makes sense of, but makes sense to the rest of the organization. For that to happen, it must be simplified. We could almost say dumbed down, but the point is that it has to be simple to use for everyone in the entire business. And a lot of these people don't like data. They could be scared of it possibly, don't like seeing spreadsheets and full reports. I find it a bit weird. Love data, love reports, love the spreadsheets, but not everyone's the same as me. So we have to make it as easy as possible for these people. So within your analytics tools, user-friendly is a key thing. Lose the abbreviations, lose the jargon, make it simple to understand. get the information into their hands so they don't have to delve into the tools to actually access the information itself. I have this concept I had from a client years and years ago. I created some quite beautiful reports to be used by the editorial team at a client. And my colleague said, well, these are great, really good, but I want it simpler still. I want people to be able to see this report and then do that. And I like this concept of see this, do that. And that's what people are trying to get to, where people who aren't analysts probably aren't confident in the use of data, use of numbers, use of maths, but are still being given the information they need to make smarter decisions. And this can be as simple as knowing which products or which articles to promote on the homepage, in your weekly newsletter, via a great email tool, to put out on social media. Knowing what's best there that's going to get the best results without having to do the maths, calculation behind the scenes yourself, that's going to help the business. It won't have a massive impact, but doing that every day across a whole range of areas will have the small incremental impacts, which over time will add up to make a massive business impact.
So what you are saying, if I'm hearing this right, is that you, as an analyst, you shouldn't focus on just the data and like how to make some big insights out of that, but you should actually first start with the people who are going to action it, understand the actions, and then bring only that data in such a way that will actually change the way they do actions.
Yeah.
Is that
A good analyst, and it's something which, to be honest, once you evolve to become this, it's hard stuff as a junior at this sort of level, but a good analyst is thinking of the business and it's thinking of people. When you're looking at digital analytics tools and you're looking at numbers there, your users, your sessions, your bounce rates, your conversion rates, you shouldn't be thinking of the numbers. You're thinking of people. Who are the people? How do they find out your website? What do they do on your website? What do they like? What don't they like? How do they behave? Are they buy from us? Why do they buy from us? What do they want to buy? This is wanting to think in those sort of terms, not navigation paths and click-through rates and exit points. It's the people behind the scenes we're trying thinking of. And that applies equally to within the business, because we can produce the best insight, the best report at a total waste of time. A first-class report which is on the shelf gathering dust is a waste, as opposed to a second-class idea which is being used by the business. The whole point of our jobs is to help make an impact on the business bottom line, to help companies make more money. So whatever we can do towards that purpose, even if not technically correct or the best way of doing things, but actually has an impact, that's what we should be focusing on. My priority is not getting accurate information, it's getting useful information. And useful information is the information that gets used by the business. That's the analyst we should be focused on at all times.
Thank you. Thank you. This was really, really insightful. Maybe to sum it up, I would like to ask you, what is the biggest challenge in next few months that you will be focusing your time on? I heard that you have some special task in front of you.
Sorry, yeah. So for myself, my board's about to change in, I think, about 4 days' time for when it's being recorded, becoming a father for the first time. So that's going to become a big focus for myself to see how that sort of deals. I don't think, unfortunately, the spreadsheets and my Excel wizardry is going to help out too much. Apparently, for change diapers and win babies instead. And I am going to be in a whole different place with all that.
That's exciting. It sounds like you really will have the new normal in front of you.
Indeed.
So,
Not quite what I expected it to happen, but yeah, it'll definitely be a whole different place.
So thank you very much for finding the time, especially in the light of the challenges you have in front of you, and thanks for the insights you gave us.
No problems. Thank you very much for the time and opportunity yourselves.